Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Rita. This is my channel 10 Red Lipsticks and this is a much needed declutter. So this is part 2. I think possibly this is going to wind up being 4 videos. So in today's video we're going to focus on all of my cheek products. So individual blush, bronzer, highlighter and face palettes, and I have got quite a few face palettes. So we've got a lot to get through. I've got 2 of these shallower drawers in my Alex 9 drawer are full of these products. I'm not looking to do a ruthless declutter, but I am meeting up with Ruth, whose channel I will link down below, who I'm sure most of you already follow, but if you don't, you should go and give her a follow in a couple of days. So she's going to bring some makeup she's decluttering, I'm going to bring some makeup I'm decluttering, and we're going to see if there's anything we want to give to the other person. So some things I'm going to declutter, I want out of my collection no matter what. I just don't use them anymore. They've gone bad. That's fine. Other things, I am going to see if there are a couple of things that, ideally I'd give them away to someone who would like to use them and would use them more than me. But if I cannot find such a person right now, maybe they'll wind up back in my drawers in a week or so after I try giving them to Ruth and maybe some of my friends, whatever. Maybe I could try bringing things into work. Anywho, we shall see. So I've kind of got 3 categories: things I'm definitely keeping, things I'm definitely getting rid of or giving away, and things I will try to give away, but if they're not taken, I'm going to take some things back, because I'd rather keep something and use it very occasionally than just throw it away, considering I happen to have the room. I've got my entire makeup collection in this Alex 9 drawer. Obviously that's a huge amount of space just for makeup, but I go by the container concept, Dana K. White's container concept, and this is the container I have for makeup, and my makeup does not exceed what fits in my container. Ideally, I would like to fit, all of my hair stuff, all of my skincare stuff into these drawers as well. So that's something that I'm working towards in the future. But yeah, so we're not going to be too ruthless, but I'm going to see if there are things that I just don't enjoy anymore and it's time to pass them along and try and pass them along. And yeah, I'm still going to keep a lot because I absolutely love blush in particular. Highlighter and bronzer are less of a thing for me, but I love blush. So we'll see how well we do here. I'm not going to be too hard on myself, so let's see how it goes. We've got blush. There is a lot of it. And back here we've got face palettes. This container has more blush going back that way. In this bigger tub we've got face palettes. And then up here, bronzers, highlighters, and more face palettes. So a lot to go through, and ideally I would have a bit more space in these drawers. So let's take everything out and go through it all. Okay, let's start with highlighters, and then so my smallest category. So I have one liquid highlighter. This is the Kiko Dolce Diva Glam Cushion Highlighter. Obviously meant to dupe the Charlotte Tilbury. I don't really think anyone else is going to want this because it's a liquid and it's a few years old, and I had it in my Partners in Cream recently and I really liked it, so I'm going to keep that one. This is my favourite highlighter, Laura Geller French Vanilla. It is stunningly beautiful. When you swatch it, it just looks kind of like a weird, very pale powder, but buffed out on the skin, it gives just the most delicate lit from within kind of subtle highlight. I wore this on my wedding day. Like, I brought it and got my makeup artist to do it. I have flattened the dome out a bit. I absolutely love this. I don't know if this is a mini or the full size or what, but it's phenomenal and absolutely keeping. These 3 are all minis from Becca. So I've got Rose Quartz. Here we go. Rose Quartz. There you go. Vanilla Quartz. And C Pop. So this is what Champagne Pop is called now. I wonder if I need vanilla quartz. Vanilla quartz is going to go into the category of things that I will declutter if Ruth wants it, but other than that, I'll bring it back into my collection. Because it is nice to have, you know, the OG loved highlighter formula. So rose quartz, vanilla quartz, and C Pop. Then I've got another from Laura Geller. This is the Baked Gelato Swirl Illuminator in Diamond Dust. So this is like a pink duochrome highlighter. It's very obvious in person, but you really cannot see it on my finger. Can you see the pink at all? Like, it's got a clear pink flash in person. You can kind of see it there. I do really like this, but I also have things like this in face palettes. I think I want to keep it as a single as well. Then we've got the Essence Emily in Paris Baked Highlighter. So Baked Blush Lighter. This is much more pigmented, and as you can see, it's like too dark to be a highlighter on me, but I use it as a blush topper and I keep it with my highlights because it's like I would wear this instead of a highlighter. But I think it's really beautiful. I love the packaging, and I think like the shape of I like the design and everything, the Emily in Paris and whatever, but I also think this is a great shape for a baked product, that like it's slightly domed on top, but not madly so. So it's not as bulky as some of the other baked product packaging. Like, this is the ideal, that you have your baked product and then you have just a flat top to your compact. But if you're not going to do that, at least to a subtle dome rather than something really difficult to store. Next up, I adore this. This will be my second favourite after the Laura Geller French Vanilla. So this is the Catrice More Than Glow Highlighter in 020 Supreme Rose Beam. This had beautiful embossing that was like this flower that's on the front, but I've worn most of it away. You can kind of see a little bit of it there. And I absolutely love this formula and I love this colour. I am tempted to get the other colours that this formula comes in. I'm going to swatch it beside the Becca one. They're very slightly different. They're not really different though. Am I ever going to use that Becca one and not just use this? I feel like it's like slightly pinker than this is. But would I just use the properly pink one? Oh, I don't know. Where are you going? Okay, I'm going to, again, so rose quartz and vanilla quartz are going in the if Ruth wants them, she can have them pile. And if she doesn't want them, they're coming right back here. Yeah, I like having the three of them as well. So that's a bit of a weird, it could be 2 declutters, it could be no declutters situation. Essence, the highlighter, Luminous Glow in 01 Mesmerizing. So this is just like a pretty standard highlighter. Can I do it next to, so there it is, and there's C Pop. So they're not the exact same, but similar enough. This I'm going to declutter to Ruth if she wants it, and then if she doesn't, I think what I'll do is slice a bit of this out and try and repress it into a face palette that I've got, or an eye and face palette that I've got that'll come up in whenever I do my eyeshadow declutter video, that I would like to kind of rejig and have things that suit me better in it. And it has a cream highlighter that's expired and needs to be dug out. So if I can't find anyone to take this highlighter intact, then I will probably dig some of it out and use it in that little project. But I may well be able to find somebody who'll take this intact, which I think makes more sense because they'll most likely use this much more than I would use a repressed highlighter, but it's just something I want to try out. But yeah, those are all of my highlighter and kind of, that's a blush topper, but anywho, shades. And yeah, I am possibly decluttering 3, but also possibly keeping them all. We'll see if anybody wants them. That's the sitch. And we are keeping 6. So that could be worse. That's not bad at all, actually. This is also a good opportunity to wipe out all of my containers. Bronzer. Okay. This is a duo, actually. So this is, and this is a duo. And this is kind of a duo. So, okay, those are all going to go with face palettes. Okay, so we've got 4 creams, 2, 4, 6, 8 powders. So let's talk about the creams first. This Primark PS Bronze Whip Velvet Finish Cream Bronzer. It's way too warm for me. Extremely yellow. I know for a fact that Ruth has this though, because I bought it, because I saw that she had bought it and I was curious. The Wet n Wild Mega Glow Makeup Stick in Oaks on You. Equally very warm, very yellow, but I do prefer a stick generally. The Sephora Collection Colour and Sculpt Stick in 01 Light. They've repackaged this, but I think it might be the same thing, just from seeing it online. I haven't checked. So this is much cooler. It's meant to be a bit more, and it's a bit green, I'd say. And the Kiko Sculpting Touch Creamy Stick Contour in 200, which I feel like might be called 200 Hazelnut, but I'm not certain of that. Which I wouldn't say is as cool as the Sephora. So let me see if Under the Light is better. Sorry for the colour. So the top 2 are very warm. 3rd is very cool, and the bottom is more in between. It is warm, but kind of more in between. Okay, so what am I going to do here? This is too many. So I have the Bronze Whip and the Oaks on You in my No Pad Left Behind. No, that's not in my Partners in Cream at the minute, just for 5 uses each, kind of trying to check if I like them. So I think that I even put them in there. It tells me a lot. I don't think, well, Ruth isn't going to want this because she already has this. So maybe I should just keep this. But no, I'm going to see if any of my friends other than Ruth want this. Yeah, I shouldn't have bought this. That was silly of me. So that's gone. This, I'm going to see if Ruth wants it. I feel bad decluttering 2 things that are in a project, but, you know, I don't really want them. I knew I didn't really want them. So, yeah. This, I'm going to see if Ruth wants it. I might bring it back if Ruth doesn't want it, because sticks are my preferred method for cream products, even though cream products are just not my jam anyway. And I'm going to keep the Sephora and keep the Kiko, kind of as the Sephora is a bit cooler and the Kiko is a bit warmer, and have cream cheek options. So do you know what? That tells me that I am decluttering this no matter what, whether Ruth wants it or not. I'm decluttering those 2. Okay, powders. Okay, obvious keep. My Gucci powder bronzer. This is excellent. It's beautiful. It was very expensive, and it's a cooler, more rosy color than a lot and lighter, like it's very light than a lot of bronzers that are out there. This is Physicians Formula, and this is their bronzer, but it's in the shade light. It's a bit yellow, but it is also very light, which is great. You can't even necessarily see how yellow it is there. This is the Flower Heatwave Bronzer, Luminous Bronzer in Sunrise. I feel like when you swatch this, it looks way more warm toned. Like in the pan, looks warm toned where you've swirled it around. So there's the Flower Beauty. And then we've got Nabla Ambra, Skin Bronzing in Ambra. Which again is a bit more yellow, kind of like the Physicians Formula. I've got the Becca Sunlit Bronzer in Bali Sands. That's not how you open it. It's very difficult to see the differences in these. Let me see if I can change the lighting. I'm not getting very far with the lighting, but hopefully it's okay. Now we've got the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder in 01 Natural. This is discontinued. And swatch that up there. These are all so light. And then the LYS No Limits Matte Bronzer in Motivate Light. So Ruth decluttered this to me, so I definitely can't reclutter it back to her. I think I have something there. So it is the most pigmented of the bunch, but it's still workable for me. So, looking at these swatches, I guess I could let go of the Physicians Formula because it does look a bit like the Nabla, I think. Let me see those. So Physicians Formula and Nabla. Nabla Nabla Physicians Formula. Yeah, the Physicians Formula is a good bit lighter. Yeah, okay, I think they're different enough to keep. That's okay. I feel better having swatched them directly side by side like that. That clarifies things. Okay, so I think the only thing in that case that I'm going to get rid of from here is this Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder. I know that I own a Catrice bronzer that is very similar to this. I've no idea where it is. Maybe I've lost it, like as in maybe I'll never get it back again, but I'm confident decluttering this. Obviously it's very broken, the packaging. It's a lovely formula. It smells like the Physicians Formula, that beachy, exotic, like, what is it? Coconutty smell or whatever. Yeah, it smells lovely still. I've used it a lot. Yeah, I think I've gotten my money's worth out of this. If anybody wants it, I will give it to them. If nobody wants it, I might combine it with this highlighter for that repressing project. That, not combine it, but like into a different pan, press some bronzer, press some highlight, and then build that kind of DIY face palette that I'm talking about. So we're keeping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 powder bronzers. Let me zoom you out a bit so you can actually see what I'm talking about. We're keeping 6 powder bronzers and 2 cream, and we are decluttering 1 powder and 2 cream, and we're keeping 5 powder highlights and 1 cream highlight, and we are decluttering possibly 3 powder highlights, and if nobody wants them, I will take these back. Yeah, okay. Jeez Louise. Nothing dramatic, but we're getting somewhere. That's a decent improvement, I think. We've got an empty tub now. Now for the big category, let's go get some blush. Okay, we have a lot more to deal with here. So, oh, actually, everything in this is technically a duo. So I'm going to take these and put them with the face palettes. Yeah, I'm going to divide into cream, baked, and pressed powder. Yes, let's do that. Okay, again, let's start with the smallest. So we've got my cream blushes here. So from Kiko, I've got the 3-in-1 Mood Boost 3-in-1 all over stick. This is the cream blush I was talking about using on my lips and ruining my lips with. I love this very neutral colour. And again, it's a stick. I love it. It's years old, but I don't think it's gone bad. It doesn't smell terrible. I think it's fine. Really, really love this colour. I think it kind of like works with everything. And this is the size that cream sticks should be. They should be like lipsticks, so they don't take 25 years to pan, which the NARS, the multiple stick and orgasm nearly killed me. Anyway, then I've got 2 Super Shock blushes. So this is Brute Flute. So this has glitter or like shimmer in it. It is beautiful. It still feels nice and creamy, even though it's a bit old. So just make sure to close it tightly every time. And here is what that looks like. Oh, it looks a bit washed out here. On the cheeks, you can definitely build it up to look a bit more. Let me try and turn down the light, actually. But you can build it up on the cheeks to look a bit more red. I'm not sure how much this is helping. Trying to do something. Oops. And then we've got between the sheets. This has no shimmer in it. This is a beautiful neutral. This does not feel, it still feels creamy, but it doesn't feel as creamy as the Brute Flute. So make very careful to close this. Make sure to close it very carefully. So there is between the sheets. It's not as subtle in person as it looks here, but yeah, very nice neutral. Like if you really sheared this out, you could get like a similar look from the two of them, but I really like them. I'm going to keep all 3. Cream blush, I tried it with the whole phase. I bought a bunch of them, and through Partners in Cream, I tried them all out, and I realized, yeah, I didn't like a lot of the formulae, and some of them had just dried out. So like I had a Bobbi Brown one, which I did like the formula of a lot, and I like the color. For years and years and years, and I was like, it's just past its prime. The NARS, the multiple, which wasn't my favorite formula, but I liked in Orgasm, was really old, had to go. But there was a Clinique stick that I loved as well that I would have kept if it wasn't so old. But yeah, keeping my 3 cream blushes. Let's do baked blush next. So baked blush is my absolute favorite formula. I kind of wish all makeup was baked. So from Kiko Milano from the Lost in Amalfi collection, I've got all 4 of the baked blushes. So 01 First Sunrise, 02 Silky Sand. I can tell by how worn away the gold on the top is which one it is. Sorry, these mirrors aren't going to do me any favors. So First Sunrise, Silky Sand, 03 Morning Kiss, and 04 Amaranth Hills. These are my absolute favourite. They're my favourite blush formula ever. I love these colours. The smell of them is lovely. They have that like perfumey makeup smell, but it's like, it's a very nice one. Like this guy is probably my least used, even though it's so beautiful. Don't know why I swatched that first. That was a silly thing to do. Anyway, that's number 3. Here's number 1. Here's number 2. And this berry one, number 4. So very subtle, beautiful, like a natural finish, like a bit of a sheen, not shimmer, but not a flat matte either. They're the perfect blushes, and I wish Kiko made this a permanent line and that I could get 20 colours in this blush. But they don't, so I've got way more than 20 colours in other blushes and in other baked blushes. So from Milani, I've got the famous Luminoso. I think this might be a mini. This is 3.5 grams. Possibly the full size is like 5 grams or 8 grams or something, I don't know. This is this is not a dupe for NARS Orgasm, but it's the same as NARS Orgasm, except this is peach and NARS Orgasm is pink. I'm like, how can I get this color to show up correctly on camera? Anyway, it's extremely shiny, like looks like a highlighter there. Yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute. Let's get, oh, those aren't baked, those are powder. Let's get rid of those. So from Laura Geller, I've got Fruit Punch, Cherry Truffle, Lychee Rose, and Sunswept. So Sunswept is the least good for me. It's very deep. Ruth actually gave this to me. I am going to keep it more for like if I was doing makeup on one of my friends. Yeah, I'm going to keep it for now. And then the other 3 I'm keeping without question. So Lychee Rose. It's this beautiful pink, very shiny thing, kind of a light pink. Oh my goodness. Fruit Punch. Fruit Punch is pigmented. It is this like much more bright coral thing. So you can see there it's much more intense, but I can still make it work on my fair skin. And Cherry Truffle is a bit like Amaranth Hills, it's that deeper berry. So I will just get Cherry Truffle and Amaranth Hills, which I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, I don't know. There's Amaranth Hills and there's Cherry Truffle. So I think you can see they are different. They are both berry tone blushes, but they're different. So, okay, what I'm going to do here is, oh no, we have 3 more baked blushes to go. Excuse me. Or well, kind of 5. So those are all the Laura Geller. And then from Catrice, I've got this Cheek Lover Oil Infused Blush. I bought this because Amanda from Makeup Just for Fun was wearing it and just looked stunningly beautiful. And I was like, I have to have that. So let me just swatch the most famous blush in the world, Luminoso, beside that. Like, Luminoso is lighter, but it's also, like, it's so shiny. And obviously this is so shiny, but it's like gold. The difference between the gold and the peachy pink. This is more clearly a blush to me, and this is like a highlighter or a blush topper or something. And then I've got 2 of the Pure Nude baked blushes from Essence. So Rosy Rosewood. And this is getting chaotic here now. Pink Flush. Can I remember which blush is where and what's going on? Ooh. This is what I mean by like really bulky packaging for your baked blush. This is ridiculous. Like this, I guess it's the same, but this feels more secure and sturdy, and I think looks prettier than this with the black bottom. but I wish they were both in the same packaging as the Emily in Paris blush. So Rosy Rosewood, which is more matte, but a very nice colour, I think, which you can barely see. Build it up a bit more. Yeah, I think that is very nice. And then Pink Flush. These are a bit hard to open. Pink Flush has a shimmer to it. Actually, maybe Pink Flush I need to swatch beside Lychee Rose and see what that's like. And then I've got two, I'm not sure if these are really baked. This is the Nabla Skin Glazing. I've got it in Independence, which is a stunning shade. Absolutely love this one. It's like this mauvey, beautiful thing. And Lola. And Lola's lovely. It's just a bit intense for me. Like, they look like they're the same level of intensity in this freaking lighting, which is driving me nuts. But anywho, this is a bit brighter than this in real life, and it's much more like, not cherry, but like pinker, more vibrant. Whereas this is like not cut with grey, but like if you wore this with grey, you'd be like, yes, that makes sense. And if you wore this with grey, you'd be like, weird choice. So yeah, okay, I'm going to swatch Pink Flush, Independence, and Lychee Rose beside each other. And we're going to see what that's like. So we've got Lychee Rose. Pink Flush. And Independence. Okay. In person, like they're not that different from each other, but they are a bit different from each other. Like this is lighter. Yeah, I'm going to keep all of them. Has Pink Flush got actual bits of glitter in it? Interesting. Now, I haven't noticed that annoying me on my face. Like, they're very small and subtle. Interesting. Okay, that's something I need to watch out for and see what I think of it on my face. Can you see? You can kind of see them there, like catching the light. Interesting. Okay. This is my favorite formula. I absolutely adore these Kiko blushes, and they'll be pried from my cold, dead hands. Absolutely keeping them all. I love the Laura Geller. I'm keeping them all. I love the Nabla. This, never parting with. Absolutely never parting with. What I might do is see if Ruth... Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If Ruth wants Lola, I'm going to give it to her. But if not, I'm going to take it back. And then with the Milani, I'll definitely be able to find somebody to take this. If Ruth doesn't want it, somebody else will want it. Luminoso. 'Tis a famous shade. And I've enjoyed it, but it was never really going to be my favourite, I think, given the peachiness of it. Hello. That's me. Hello. So yeah, this is going no matter what. Okay, I'm shocked. Okay, so we have 2 baked blushes going. And we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, am I right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, we have 12 baked blushes staying and 2 going. Okay. Pressed powder blush. Let's do this. Okay, I'm going to do some by color, but I'm also going to do some by collection. So first off, I have every shade of the Essence The Blush. There are 9 shades. I think I've got them. No, I don't have them in order. 10, 20, 70, 40, 50, 60, 90, 80. Okay. We've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So we've got Befitting. I'm not getting rid of any of these. I'm just swatching them for you. Bespoke. And Breathtaking. Breathtaking is much newer. I don't have much use on that. Beloved. Also a bit newer. Blooming. I have loads of use on Blooming because I had it in a project Pan That Imprint where I was trying to wipe away the imprint, which I did pretty well at. It is very, very light, but on my very light skin, it does do something. We have 60 Beaming. Another very light one. It looks, it's pinker than Blooming, just barely. Not sure if this lighting is any better, but anywho. Next we have Believing. Much deeper than the rest. Breezy. And 90 is Bedazzling. I had to order these from other countries. They were not all available where I live. And I love having this whole collection. It brings me great joy. I know it's a bunch of very subtle blushes. But yeah, it's an excellent formula. I am also interested in possibly depotting these and turning them into magnetic pans. And the reason I say that is they like shift with my finger if I push on them, which makes me think they would be easy to depot. Now, they don't pop out if you pull them with a magnet. I'm not sure if I could just push them like this to get them out, but I feel like if I were willing to do a bit of work, these would be quite easy to depot, and I think it would be lovely to have them all in a magnetic palette together. So yeah, keeping all of my Essence the Blush, I love them. Aren't they so pretty? Okay, let's get serious about, I mean, am I able to let any of these go? I love blush. I love it so much. I don't know. Okay, so here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 13 blushes here left to deal with. Okay, first off, Ruth gave me this Tarte Quirky. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love it. Yeah, I've been really enjoying this since she gave it to me. Absolute keeping, and I love that it's a mini and not taking up too much space. 1.5 grams. I'm not saying I'm ever gonna finish a blush because obviously I have such a wide variety, but it's nice to have something small. This Physicians Formula Butter Blush in what is it, Vintage Rouge? Yeah, Vintage Rouge is one of my absolute favorites. And when I first got into kind of makeup YouTube and started buying a lot of makeup in like 2020, this is one of the first things I bought. And yeah, I love it. The packaging is stupid. I'm not even sure if this really is a pressed powder or if this is baked or how they make this, but it's a beautiful formula. It's like getting a bit drier now than it was. It's extremely neutral. It's like that. It's extremely light, very neutral. It's like a very light, warm blush on me, but very neutral. And what am I doing? You can't really see that swatch, but it is one of my favorites. It's very like that Essence Blooming, the blush in the 50 Blooming shade. I love it. It still smells good. Yeah. This is this made me want more of this formula, including, I was like, you know, Physicians Formula have a lot of face palettes. I was like, if they did a face palette that was all different colours of the butter blush, I would buy it. But they had like some huge ridiculous thing that was like a massive case that had like all of everything from the butter line. So like all the, what are they called? Bronzer shades and everything, and I was like, no, I don't want that. And all the face palettes they do generally, now I have one that Ruth gave to me which I'm very happy with, but generally the 6-pan ones, they would have lots of things that are way too deep for me. So yeah, I stuck with this until, so I'm keeping that, recently, and I bought this. So this is in the shade Plum Rose, and it looks beautiful. It looks like a really light, really cool tone blush, but it just like blends into my skin. I am one of the palest people I know. I cannot imagine who this works for. Sorry, the birds. Yeah, the sun is setting, so the birds are freaking out outside. So yeah, I can't imagine who this works for. The way I was kind of thinking I was going to use this was, who this would work for, I was going to use this would be to blend out blush when I feel like I've done too much. But yeah, it seems silly to keep, so I'm going to see if anybody wants this. That's a declutter. Let's get this out of the way because it's kind of catching the light. This is Rude Chubba Chub, Rude X Chubba Chub, and Adam got me this for Christmas. Put it in my stocking. I think the packaging is so pretty. It's this more vibrant thing. Definitely not an everyday, but yeah, I like it and it was a present. I'm keeping it. This Catrice blush box in 020 Glistening Pink. I don't never wear this, but I just don't really think to wear it. I think like when I think of wearing this, I also think of wearing the Lychee Rose from Laura Geller. And obviously this, it's not like a total flat matte, but it's a matte blush, and it does quite a different thing than the Lychee Rose. So maybe I should keep both, but it is just not one that fills me with joy or that I think of using often, but it's a perfectly good blush. So I think would be good to pass on to someone else. It's very subtle, but very, like, it's not nothing. It puts colour on your cheeks, or at least if you're pale like me. So yeah, let's see if anybody else wants this one. We've got a few of these quite brown blushes. So we've got e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush in Always Earthy. We've got KVD Everlasting in Honeysuckle. And then we've got the Balm Desert. Oh yeah, I pried this out of the packaging deliberately because all of these pans are magnetic, but I'm still keeping it in the packaging, but it's just not glued in because I pulled it out deliberately. So the Balm Desert, which is much more pigmented, but also is much rosier. So yeah, now both these KVD blushes and the Balm blushes are magnetic, and that is very appealing to me. Oh my god, there's like loads of fallout. I've just tipped out like loads of bits of this just from one swatch. I feel like I should keep this, and I have felt like I should use it since I bought it because it's primer infused, so that should be good for my oily skin, which my skin loves to eat blush. But I don't really reach for this, and I've got other brown blushes, including the Essence the blush in Bespoke. So I am going to declutter this. And I'm going to keep the KVD in Honeysuckle, and I'm going to keep the Balm Desert, which it's a bit deep for me, but it's so rosy, and I love how rosy it is. So with a light hand, I can make it work, and it's so appealing to me that these are magnetic. Okay, so we have two more. We have two more from the Balm. We've got one from Colourpop, another KVD, and this is from She, I think it's the brand. I got it in Prague. So let's talk about the Balm. We've got Big Date, which I hate this picture. I know obviously she is lying down, he's leaning over her, but it looks like because her legs are up in the air, it looks like she's like falling and he's pushing her, and it just gives me weird vibes. And I know that's ridiculous, but that's just my first instinct from looking at is, oh no, she's falling, which is silly. This has the little clip-in new packaging, which is meant to be fully recyclable, and that so they don't have a mirror and they don't have a magnet, so they have this little thing. It works really well, from what I can tell, and they have the thing for you to pop it out. Now they are glued in, so you have to like force them out. So yeah, I hate the picture. Big Date, You Made Me Blush, Clean Beauty and green packaging. So this is the whole vibe of these guys. So yeah, it's doing its thing, but I don't love the packaging. So let's swatch this one. Big Date. So it's much deeper than some of the other things we've been looking at. Oh, it doesn't show up that, like, it's not crazy deep at all. And then in the old packaging, so the In-Stain blush with the like little magazine, very, very cute. Love this, her little hat. Houndstooth is the colour, and you've got the houndstooth packaging or houndstooth pattern along the side. It's so pretty. This has a mirror, and this one had fallen out, like the glue had dried up because it was quite old, so I've labelled it in case I want to put it into a magnetic palette. So it's sticking to the magnet, the closure magnet there. Love this. Cool tone blush. I wear a lot of cool tone eyeshadow, so very happy to have. It's a little different. I would say Big Date is a bit more neutral, and Houndstooth is a bit more pinky mauvey. It's a very subtle difference in person, and it's very difficult to tell on my phone. Sorry, the lighting is all garbage because the sun is setting and I've artificial light, and I'm doing my best here. I have to do this declutter, so I will do a future video, a swatch video in good lighting if you would like. And actually I have a video swatching a huge amount of my blush collection up from when we had to move house, and I swatched like my entire collection when we had to move house temporarily. Anyway, this is Colourpop Whole 9 Yards. I love this embossing. I think it's beautiful, and I think this packaging is excellent. These are also magnetic, so you can pop these out and put them into other things. So win-win, win-win-win. Yeah, I'm gonna let Big Date go. It's lovely, but it's not, and it is a bit different to Houndstooth, but it's not different enough for me to keep it. whereas somebody else could use this. Yeah, and somebody else might not be like, have their instinct be that this poor woman is being pushed by this poor man, and someone else might be like, no, they're having a grand old time, it's all good. But that's just my instinct, I can't do anything about it. Anywho, keeping those. KVD, so again, these are magnetic. This is peony. This is a lighter pink. I think you can see how pink it is. Oh yeah, it's a good bit pinker than... Is it necessarily that bright pink blush that was du jour for quite some time? I'm not sure, but it's like, it is a bright pink. It's not necessarily the kind of nearly, neon pink that was going around, but it's very, very baby pink, very the thing. And then the She Color and Style. So I think that's the brand name. And then Powder Rouge is a product. And it does not seem to have a shade name. So this, I think, is a DM own brand. And I just thought this compact was beautiful. I thought the it's not really marbling, but like speckled between the two colors was beautiful. I thought the color looked gorgeous. But it is very, very light. It doesn't do nothing, but it does so little that... I don't need this. I have blushes that do very little. This is subtle and I love it and it does something when I build it up. This is subtle and it's a bit frustrating because it doesn't really go anywhere if I try to build it up. So that can go. This can stay. So let's do a count. So we're keeping 17 pressed powder blushes, if this is a pressed powder, and we are decluttering 5. I know that's not a lot, but it's better than nothing. Yeah, I love blush. It's my favorite thing. I really love it so much. So, I'm doing what I can here. So for single face products, cheek products, we're decluttering 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Now, some of them are in the if nobody wants them, I'll take them back category. Some I'll repress if nobody wants them. But the rest are going no matter what. Actually, probably this, if nobody wants this, I'll take it back. Especially because I can take it out of that packaging that I don't love. So yeah, I am pretty happy with this. It's not a huge amount in comparison to the huge number that I'm keeping. If I work out the number, I'll put it on screen. But I'm happy. This is creating space in my drawers. This is hopefully going to go to people who will use it more than me. So yeah, progress, not perfection. Less is better and better is good, as Dana K. White says. So, yeah, let's move on to face palettes. Okay, I've got a big face palette collection. I love a face palette. Brings me enormous joy. I think they're extremely beautiful to look at. I think they're very convenient. I love to open one compact and have more than one step. So yeah, big fan. We'll go by number of pans. We'll start with products with 2 pan, move up to 3 pans, 4 pans, and then I think I have a few 6 pan things. So yeah, I'm going to separate it out now based on number of pans. So things like this with 2. Yeah. so in terms of 2 pans, I've got a bunch of the e.l.f. bite-sized face duos. I've got an Essence Maxi Blush, which I should have probably done this in the singles, but it's got a blush and a highlighter in the middle, but the highlighter is just an overspray. But for now, it kind of has 2 shades. I have some duo products with 2 of the same thing, so I might put the 2 of the same thing ones there. And then, yeah, all of these have 2 of 2 different things. Okay, so with the e.l.f., I've got, oh my goodness, watermelon, cantaloupe, guava, white peach, spiced apple, and lychee. I had the whole line of these and I got rid of 2 of them. I got rid of coconut and I don't know what the other one was. Cantaloupe is unique, and guava and white peach. I don't really have things like that, so I want to keep them for that reason. I don't necessarily use all of the highlighters in here, but some of them I can use as like a blush topper. Some of them I can use as a proper highlighter. This one I can. They're so compact. They're so easy to travel with. I'm not going to swatch all of them. And I think the formula is nice. So there's no real reason. Like, that's so unique. I have nothing like that. Now, that doesn't mean I'm using it that often, but I think it's nice to have as an option. I'm tempted to keep all of these. Let me... Lychee. It's a bit deeper. But see, it's not too deep. It's perfectly wearable for me and my skin tone. And then spiced apple. Like, spiced apple is even just such a nice name. I want to keep it for that. Yeah, that's another brownie blush. I do have a lot of those, but I like that. It's... I want to keep all of these. I'm doing it. Oh. I don't think I'm going to declutter anything from this whole section anyway. Well, I put lychee in a maybe pile. And spiced apple in a maybe pile. And then, okay, let me just quickly, so I swatched cantaloupe. Let me do, what is this? Guava. It's very light, but it's very nice. And white peach. Again, so unique. I do not have this elsewhere. And then I'm definitely, watermelon is the most usable for me. Like, this as a pink highlighter, this as a neutral blush. It works so well. I have no clean fingers left. That's a definite keep. Yeah, okay, these 4 are definite keeps. And then these 2 are a maybe pile that I'll think about again later. Okay, next blush. This is the Essence Maxi Blush in Leaving You Speechless from the Disney Villains Ursula collection. And it's so beautiful. Look at the little tridents. Yeah, love it. So the blush. And then the highlighter, which I think the highlighter will be gone soon. It's a brown blush and just very basic warm highlighter. I love the packaging. It's so beautiful. I love Ursula. Look at her chins. Love it. Yeah. Absolute obvious keep. It's more of a single for me because I just swirl all this together. But yeah, I really, really like this, and like the packaging and the theming and all the rest of it, but also when I wear this, I really enjoy it and I think it looks really pretty. So that's a definite keep. This is from Glam Shop Poland. This is a face duo from the Chocolate Cherry collection, and the split pan is slightly difficult to use. You need like brushes that fit in it very well, but these colors and the formula are lovely, and they're not impossible to use. So it's kind of a more, not like shimmery bronzer, but like a, yeah, I guess shimmer bronzer is the right word. Like it's a glowy bronzer and a kind of glowy blush, but not glittery at all. And it's kind of an unusual blush tone. It's this like raspberry color, or like I guess cherry. Yeah, I really like this, and I think it works very well. It has a decent mirror, and for my purposes of wanting to open one compact and have more than one step, it works very well. So this is a keep. Similarly, the Zoeva Radiant Bronzer, sorry, there's my phone, Radiant Bronzer Highlighter in Lumi 01. Jeez Louise. We have a Radiant Bronzer. Love it. And we've got a highlighter, fairly standard. Yeah, I really like this. It suits me color wise, and it's not too deep. It's easy to use. Yeah, the packaging can get dirty, but if you wipe it down, it looks all right again. So yeah, keep. I'll do this next. This is Juvia's Place Blushed Rouge. Anyway, volume 2. Yeah, I think they have way more shades of this now, but I think when they launched they had 2 shades. It was like volume 1 and volume 2. So I got volume 2, and it is very, very nice. This is not showing up. This is pinker in, like, this bottom shade is pinker in real life than it's showing up on my camera. But anyway, it's really nice. 2 matte blushes, and I like them, but I don't love them. And I do think of them and I do reach for them. This is like pink, a pinky peach or a peachy pink or something. And this is this like lovely kind of orangey brown. They're both lovely, but I often think of this as being pinker than it is. And I go looking for it, and then I get it out, and then I'm like, oh, actually, no, what I want is my Peony blush from KVD, which is much pinker. So yeah, I think this is something that somebody else would really enjoy. So I'm going to see if anybody wants this. If they don't want it, I'm going to take it back into my collection because these are really great. Also, I think the design is stunningly beautiful. Like, look at those pictures. And I think this, like, it's not wasting space, but it's, you know, it's big enough that you're not going to lose it somewhere. It's, I think, really well done, really nice. But those are going to go to a new home if I can find a good home for them. At the same time, they launched their bronzed palettes. These might have had more shades. Anyway, I got the light one. Again, beautiful, beautiful cover art. Really nice. You have got a mirror in these, a decent mirror. These colors are great. Like, this is perfect for me, and this is a bit warmer, a bit yellower. But they work really, really well for me. I'm just swatching them over other things. I just don't need them because I have enough, and I think perhaps the same person who I'd give the blushes to might like these bronzers. So I'm going to try to give them away to a good home. If I can't, I'm taking them back, and like, if I was in a position of really, really wanting to minimize and I just wanted to have the smallest version of everything possible, I would probably depot this one because it's perfect, and get rid of this one because it's less perfect. Now, it's totally usable. It's something I can use more in the summer or more with a warmer look, like the eyeshadow I'm wearing today, for example. But every single day, all year round, I could use this. So yeah, this is great, but I'm going to see if it can find a better home. Now, I've got 2 of these contouring palettes. So one is from Essence. This is their contouring duo palette in 10 lighter skin. This is excellent. Like, really, really good. I got this when I was first getting into makeup, and yeah, I love it. It was a great investment. You can see the ridges of the pan down here. I think I could hit pan in this. Yeah, I'm keeping this. The light shade is obviously so light, it looks like it's blending in with my skin tone there, but like a no makeup-y look with that as my bronzer totally works. And then what I usually do is kind of like dip in here, then dip in here, then dip back in here, and that creates a great shade. And then I can obviously, no, I just use contouring and bronzing as the same thing because I'm so pale that, and I have quite cool undertones, so cool toned contour shades look a bit better than warm orangey shades on me. And then this KVD shade and light contour in Lucid and Somber is basically the same thing, but more expensive with really bulky packaging. That obviously it's doing its thing, it's vibing, but it's not my vibe. So yeah, no, the packaging feels really high quality. And these are magnetic pans, my favorite thing. So this, however, oh, sorry. Lucid, the top shade, has, I don't know if that's mold or rust, but either way, it's got to go. I can't see it in the bottom shade. I'm going to keep the bottom shade. Maybe that's super gross and I shouldn't be doing that, but that's what I am going to do. So yeah, this top shade is getting decluttered. I'm not giving that to anybody. It's gross. I don't know what that is. I'm not confident that that's safe. I'm keeping this bottom shade, but I'm going to pop it out and I'm going to declutter this bulky packaging and I'm going to put it into a magnetic palette. And that does remind me that I should have done the same in my blush section. So these KVD blushes, like, they're vibing. Obviously they're like roses, it's so pretty, blah blah blah, but the all black, it's not my vibe. So I'm going to pop Peony and Honeysuckle out, and I'm going to pop Somber out, and I'm going to put them all into a empty magnetic palette and keep the shades, and the packaging and the shade Lucid are all going away. So I'm going to go get my magnet and do that. Okay, so Lucid is being decluttered, Somber, Peony, and Honeysuckle are all staying, and all of this packaging is off to the recycling box at Boots, which hopefully is not completely freaking full, which is the way it generally is. So I'm very happy with my magnetic face shades. I already had them all labeled because I have had them in BYOPs for travel before. Sorry, my magnet's too strong. I was trying to take it with it. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. So much more compact. Excellent. This is staying as is though. I would be totally up for not decluttering, depotting this, but I think it's fine as is. Like, it's a little bulkier than it needs to be. It's not as perfectly efficient space-wise as the e.l.f. duos, but it is not too bad. And yeah, happy to have that. Okay, on to 3-pan things. What am I doing? I'm putting the things I'm keeping in the wrong place by mistake. Okay. Okay, dokes. So 3 pans. We've got the Balm Voyage Tropics. We've got that Physicians Formula palette I was talking about. And then we've got 3 from Zoeva. So the Balm Tropics is the newest, or no, the second newest to me. I bought this in TK Maxx. It looks too warm for me. It is, like, the bronzer is too warm for me, but last August I used it and absolutely loved it. I used it several times. Yeah, I'm keeping it. I'm going to keep it as is for now, but these are all magnetic pans, so if I want to get them out of the packaging like I did with the Balm Desert that we had in the blush section, I can. So that is an option to me, and I will probably use it in the future. But for now, I'm going to keep them as is. They work really well together as a very warm, bright summer colour story. Physicians Formula, we've got highlighter, a blush and a bronzer. Unfortunately, we don't have a mirror, which would make this a perfect travel face palette. The bronzer is in the bronzer shade, whereas the individual one I have, the single one I have, is in the light bronzer shade. The blush is in Beachy Peach. This is a beautiful shade. And the highlighter is in Tropical Sands. These all work well for me. I love this formula. This highlighter fell apart and I've kind of pushed it back together. I'd say the highlighter is going to dry out and become unusable before the other two. And when that happens, or if it all falls out, then I will depot these, put stick magnets on the back. Actually, are they magnetic? No, they're not magnetic. I will stick magnets on the back of them. Like, I'll rip apart the packaging, stick magnets on the back of these pans and put them into a magnetic palette. But until that happens, because it's the 3-in-1, it is a great little travel palette, or like in my makeup bag when I'm going to work or whatever. Similar, Zoeva The Basic Moment. This is dried out. It is not good enough to pass on to anyone. We've got Unfinished, a very light bronzer. I'm not swatching things in this section because it's way too many shades. We'd be here all day. Unfinished is very light, and it's lighter now than it ever was because it is drying out. Liquid Clock is lovely. It is a bit more gold than is just a perfect neutral bronzer for me, but I can make it work. And Yet to Come is lovely, but it's very light pink. So to me, like, I would want a warmer toned blush with this bronzer, with this highlighter. But actually I think it's the highlighter is too warm for the other two. But anywho, this is a bit dried out, but it's all 3-in-1, which is so perfect for in my makeup bag or whatever. And they're a bit dried out and not perfect and not what they once were, but they are not, so they're not good enough to give away, but also they're not completely done yet. So 24 months was the expiration. Sorry, there's a bit of dirt on them. These older things kind of always have that. It's way past 24 months, but it's not completely dead. So I'm going to keep it because I don't think there's any point in throwing it away and no one will ever use it again. I might not use it much, but I might use it again. So I'm going to keep it. Then we've got Offline and Opulence. So Offline, I've got the Offline eyeshadow palette as well. Very unusual. So we've got Privacy and Holistic Balance are these bright blushes, totally unique in my collection. And then Calm Comfort is like a pink highlighter. So I've got a few of those. It's not really that. It's probably less intense than the Laura Geller that we were looking at earlier. But yeah. Are these too dried out to be useful? No, I don't think so. And like, what's the point of me decluttering these when I have them now? So if I ever want them, at least I have them. And these are too old and too dry to give away. Look at this packaging. So this is Zoeva Opulence. Love it. And here we've got 2 blushes and a highlighter. And I love all of these. So we've got Do Not Touch, Impossible to Move, and Underneath the Gold. I'd say these are a bit less dry than the others. I've no idea how old any of them are because I got them in TK Maxx. This highlighter works quite well for me. And I think like this is obviously a good blush for like an autumnal look, more intense look. And this is a softer but very warm toned blush. Yeah, I want to keep all of these. The 3 Zoeva, the Physicians Formula and the Balm. Keep. Now, 4 pans. Okay, we've got things with a mix of products and then we've got blush palettes. So let me wipe my fingers actually. Okay, I've got 3 blush palettes in this section. So we've got Vanilla Cream Truffle from BH Cosmetics. I bought this because Robert Welsh said it smelled like those cupcake dolls, and it does. This is a great formula. It's lovely. The whole design is cute and everything. Decent mirror, though I wish the mirror went all the way to the edge as opposed to being in a bit from the edge. Because if it was bigger, it'd be more useful. But yeah, love this. The only thing is these are 4 matte blushes, and I wish you'd like 2 shimmery blushes and 2 matte blushes. Similar issue with the Beauty Bakery Cotton Candy Champagne Blush Lighter palette. These are 4 very shimmery blushes, like very shimmery. So definitely emphasize texture, etc. I've decided I just don't care about that anymore. So I'm just using them to my heart's content. Anywho, we've definitely got some like colors in common with other things, singles in my collection, but I do think this formula is special and lovely. This is a bit bulky, this packaging, so like, and it was even more bulky. It had like cotton wool balls on the front, pink, to make it look even cuter. And tasting to the sweet life. So this is a definite contender for being depotted in the future. This is also a contender for that because it's not like, for travel, this is kind of great, other than I probably don't want 4 matte blushes at once to be my only options, you know, and I don't want 4 heavily shimmery blushes to be my only options for travel. So these aren't actually great for travel. They're great for at home, having a lot of options. So yeah, I think I'm less likely to declutter this one, or not declutter, sorry, depot this one, because it has the mirror and it's more compact. But this big bulky guy is definitely up for future depotting. But for now, I love it as is, and it's very clear in my mind if I want a very shimmery blush or a blush topper to go for this palette. So I don't feel the need to depot it right now. But then, oh, this is actually, it's called a blush quad, but I would say one of them is kind of more a blush topper or highlighter. This is the Will Powder palette from the BAM. All of the BAM I got in TK Maxx. So I've got Dedication, Stamina, Perseverance, and Worth the Wait. So Worth the Wait, like, it's kind of like the Emily in Paris. So like, I consider that to be a highlighter, but it is too deep to be a highlighter for me, so it's a blush topper. So I guess it's a blush palette still. This Dedication shade I've been loving because it's so pink. So with my very cool tone looks, I've been loving. The swatches are just not working at all color wise, but anyway. And then Stamina is a bit deeper, Perseverance obviously much warmer. Yeah, I love this. This is a great travel blush palette. If it had a mirror, it would be perfect. Oh goodness, I've just stuck my thumbnail into that. Anyway, I love this whole theme. It's all cute. Will Powder, long lasting, shows his true colors, good looking, likes to recycle. The perfect man. So yeah, love that. Keeping. So weird to have like a picture of some guy, obviously it's cartoon and whatever, but like picture of some guy on my makeup. But anywho, it's cute and funny and all good, and doesn't remind me of violence unlike the other packaging. So then we're on to 4 pan palettes that have a mix of different products. These all have mirrors, so this is difficult. First off, we've got the Catrice Caviar Gauche. We've got 2 blushes, a bronzer and a highlighter. All of these are amazing. We have a matte blush and a shimmery blush. This is like the perfect thing. The only problem is I broke the clasp. Oh no, it seems fine now. I thought I broke the clasp and it wasn't like sticking as well as it used to. But now it's fine. Oh my god, that's amazing. Okay, Caviar Gauche collection from Catrice. I absolutely loved this collection. I have the quad as well. So the face palette is in Love Letters. It is perfect for my skin tone, which is so unusual for everything in a face palette to work really well for you. And this works really well for me, so I freaking love it. And it's perfect for travel. It has everything you need. And it has a warmer tone blush and a cooler tone blush, and it has a shimmery blush and a matte blush. It only has one highlighter and it is a bit of a warmer tone, but it's like a warm neutral, works totally fine. Yeah, and the bronzer works fine. It's not way too deep. Love this, and I think the packaging is gorgeous. Absolute obvious keep from my cold dead hands. Will that be taken from me? This I got because they were baked, and I love baked products. We've 2 highlighters and 2 blushes. I definitely don't need these 2 highlighters. So one is a bit deeper than the other. So this one's more of a highlighter on me, and this one's a bit too deep. It's a collab with Maxim Giacomo, who, if you follow the Catrice Germany Instagram page, they'll often feature, like, they'll do collab, like sponsor posts and whatever with Maxim on them, like demonstrating tutorials and whatever. And I love this fingerprint design. This is a collab with Maxim Giacomo Baked Face Palette. I don't know if it has a name, but yeah, if you follow Catrice's German Instagram account, you'll see Maxim on there from time to time. And yeah, I love baked products, so I figured why not. This is kind of quite like Milani Luminoso, so that makes me even feel even better about decluttering that. So yeah, keeping, even though not all the shades are perfect for me, because I love the format and the design. So that one had just blushes and highlighters, but the next 2, so I should have done the Catrice and these 2 together, have at least one of everything. So we've got this Becca palette, we've got a blush, 2 highlighters and a bronzer. These are all a bit much. Very, very intense highlighters, very intensely shimmery blush, which is just not always my thing. Like, you're not getting there how shimmery it is. Let me do the highlighters. Like, it feels like a highlighter in a blush shade. None of this is coming off as intense as it is in person. Anywho, or certainly on the face. Yeah, I love this. The tones are not perfect for me, but they're pretty good and they're great for the summer. And I think the packaging is stunning and is absolutely summery. And the really big mirror. This, I hate this. This sticker is, to my mind, upside down. So anyway, it's the Sunsetter face palette, and I got it in TK Maxx, and I'm so glad I did. Absolute keep. And then the perfect face palette. This is from Zoeva. We've got a highlighter. It's a pinky highlighter, which I kind of think it should be more champagne to go with this colour story, but anyway. And then we've Growth and Celebration, which are warm tone blushes. They're kind of the matte version and the shimmer version of each other. So I love having both finish options. And then Strength. Strength is like the perfect bronzer. It's a bit rosy, but not too rosy. It's not too light. It's not too dark. It is gorgeous. I absolutely love it. I love the big mirror. I think the packaging is beautiful. So this is the Together We Shine face palette. They don't do it anymore, but they should. It's freaking gorgeous. It's amazing. Love it so much. Keep, 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 keep. And now my 2 6-pan palettes. I'm about to get a third because Ruth is giving away another BH Cosmetics face palette. So Ruth gave me this. This is the Belgian Waffle face palette. We've got highlighters and bronzers in here. Ruth did a Franken with these 3 bronzers, because she would run her brush along all 3. So that's awesome. She's made the one that suits her, and there's still loads in here, and I get to play with all of these. So I definitely don't really go into cinnamon, and I don't go into the highlighter maple, but these 4 are great, and there's no real point in me digging these out just because I wouldn't really use them. If I was doing my makeup at a friend's house and a friend with deeper skin needed a highlighter or a bronzer, it'd be no harm to have them, and there's no benefit to throwing them away. So I'm going to keep the whole thing. Could I depot these and then just keep these 4 pans? I could, but I don't feel the need to do that because face palettes are something that I use, that I love. And like, look at this design. This is gorgeous. And the face palette that Ruth is getting rid of, I think now, is the Glowing in Grease, or Anyway, it's the same format of 6 shades and it's this size. So like the two of them together, I think they'll be cute. So keeping this intact for now. If I were trying to minimize completely, I could depot and get rid of these 2 shades, but yeah. And then finally, I've got my Catrice Romantic Gardens Everyday Face and Cheek palette. This palette is so good. You've got 3 blushes, 2 highlighters and a bronzer. That is the ideal layout to me. I wish this bronzer was a bit lighter, but other than that, I wouldn't really change anything in this palette, which is kind of amazing. I can use this with a light hand and it works totally fine. It is a little bit warm. And I kind of wish one of these blushes were a bit cooler, but this is quite light and it works perfectly fine with cool tone looks. So yeah, I love this. I just had it in my deck of panning for 8 uses and I used it like 10 or 12 times that were tracked, and I'm pretty sure I used it a few other untracked times because it's just such an easy format to have in my makeup bag, have everything with me. I love the packaging, the mirror is good, got the shade names and the picture on the back there. Yeah, this is excellent. I highly recommend it. I'm not sure if it's still available, but most of these face palettes are not available, and this one might be. So yeah, I really, really like this. Yeah, I've got a bit of a face palette problem. So we are decluttering. Are we decluttering these? They're very beautiful, but will I ever think to reach for these? Let me see if I can find a dupe for this. Okay, so I have swatched out some things and I've decided that spiced apple isn't special enough to keep. I do feel like I don't have an exact dupe for lychee, but I don't, yeah, I think I can live without it. Okay, so we, geez Louise, this is pathetic. We have 4 things going from here and then a single shade from this duo. So we kind of have 5 declutters and a whole heap of keeps. Let me go and count them. So we have 22 keeps plus this depotted shade from the KVD Shade and Light, and then we have 5 declutters, so the rest of the KVD Shade and Light, 2 shades of the e.l.f. Bite Size Face Duos, and then the Juvia's Place bronzer and blush palettes. I actually went downstairs and I still had the swatches of this on my hand, and this actually was pinker than, so I guess it is as pink in some light as I think of it in my mind, but sometimes it looks very neutral. So anywho, I'm still happy to give it away if I can find a better home for it, and if I can't, then the Juvia's Place will be coming back, but yeah, and the rest won't. So anyway, that's 5 declutters and so many keeps. But anywho, I love face palettes, I love cheek products. It is what it is. I'm going to rearrange my drawers and see what they look like now, and if I can make them look a bit better, a bit less cluttered than they did before. Okay, so I've been able to rearrange things quite a bit. I've got my face palettes all up in this drawer here, and then down here I've got my blush, bronzer and highlighter all in one drawer. So I've got all my blush kind of all over the place. I've got highlighters here and at the front here. I've got bronzer back here in this container, and here I've got a mix of all of my cream products, so blush, bronzer and highlighter all in one. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. It's not necessarily much less than I had before, but it's less chaotic and it is a bit less. So, you know, less is better and better is good. Okay, so that didn't feel like the most dramatic declutter ever, but here is the box of things that I'm going to try to give away, and if some things aren't wanted, I am going to take them back into my collection. But yeah, I'm very happy now that I can see the pile in front of me. Yeah, sorry, the ring light is catching on my glasses. Not the most dramatic declutter, but moving a few things out, so I think that is good. If you would like to see part 3 of my declutter series, I'm not sure what will be next. I guess base products and brows and lashes which is mascara. I don't wear false lashes, but anywho, that'll be next. And then finally, eyeshadow. Please do subscribe to my channel if you would like to see the rest of this declutter series. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!